Hello Tubesters, it's Gav and welcome to another one of my videos. We've got a catch up on the 15mm Flames of War stroke Battlefront, which is the company that makes it. Flames of War is the game that it's used in the tabletop World War II game. I've done as much as I want to for scratch building wise. There's not a lot more I can realistically do. As I say, I had even thought of taking a whole section out and showing one of some of the engine or transmission. Well, the transmission would be up there, wouldn't it? But anyway, but again, you'd have to replace all the towing cables and everything. It just wasn't worth it. What I will do is at some stage, I think it would be probably cheaper for me to buy a box, although depending on the type of vehicle you want to buy a box of, they can turn up to about £30. I mean, you get about 6 vehicles in it, but again, it's a more investment. But it probably would be better than spending anywhere from £5 to £8 on a sprue. So what I'm trying to say is, when I do decide to buy a box of whatever tanks I decide to buy, I'll definitely be opening one of the engine covers up, and because I'll be doing Allied tanks, it's not just German tanks. So we've got our Mark 1 Tiger, or Tiger Mark E. I've opened up the co-driver or radio operator bow machine gunner. So he did more or less a lot of things on the vehicle, and the driver's hatch, I've opened those up. I've just shown some rough viewing ports, so it's like obviously a glass periscope more or less. Put some ill-defined features there, which are the locking mechanisms of the hatch themselves. You're just going to move them obviously to lock them in place. The top of the viewing ports, which is obviously got an armoured cover over, you can only just see. I wasn't going into any massive detail. Just because of the scale, it'd just be lost really. I don't think we can go any farther. What I did was, I've got some of those burring tools for the Dremel, and I came at it from behind actually, because there was already a starter hole where they'd sunk it in or something, and I just before obviously all this was put together and it's just a flat deck, I put a drill in, and then the burr straight through. What I only thought about afterwards, I was struggling with my Plasticard to get a circle in the right size, and although I've got a circle cutter and I've got obviously with all the others, you get that thing with all the different circle shapes we use for masking and that for wheels, nothing was that tiny. Never thought about it till this morning. What I could have actually done was get the Plasticard, put a drill that was roughly the same size as this, or very slightly bigger, drill through the Plasticard to actually make my own template, and then just put it on a fresh piece of Plasticard and drew inside it to get the circle. Oh well, you think of these things later on. So yeah, another thing I didn't do, normally I'll put a piece of Plasticard underneath so that the half crew figure will sit on top of that. Forgot to do that as well. Not a big issue, because I'll just put a piece of sprue at the bottom of the figure and just glue the sprue to the base, so it's not a big issue. I was deciding whether to do weld beads and decided not to, just because these, I think from what my Tiger books show, these slabs here I think had a slight recess in them. So there would be a slight gap, I believe. I can't move, I'm moving around gingerly because the tracks and the wheels, they all come in one piece, as you realise. They're not stuck on, they're just, I'll keep them off to paint the vehicle. Didn't have to do anything with the Commander's cupola. You get the two choices. Well, you get three in a sense. You get the open cupola with the skate ring around the top and the viewing blocks. You get the earlier version, which is this one, closed or open. This is the loader's hatch. I just kept carving that out with my scalpel until I could break it free. Because it was done with a scalpel, it was fairly rough around the edges, so I've put some Plasticard in just to straighten those edges off as best I could. Stuck a smaller and a larger piece of Plasticard together to make the seal type of thing. The handles, yes, are a bit big, but trying to make them any smaller in this scale is pretty hard. I made a little wheel at the bottom as well, because that obviously moves your rods in and out, which I put on there to lock it in place. It's quite big, and obviously there's nothing in there, but I reckon when a figure's put in there, I don't think it should be too bad. You get some nice little stowage bins. This is where everything's going to fall apart probably. You get some nice little stowage bins. I decided to break one off. This is on the route up. I might be, well, I don't know yet, on the route to the front or passing through an area that's seen combat. And I thought, well, would the hatch to these things have broken off that early? And I thought, oh, I'll stuff it. It makes a nice bit of change. So I'll put a piece of Plasticard just to make it again a big cavernous hole, and I'll put a bit of scrunched up material in there to make like a greatcoat or something, as if it's been stuffed in the top. So that's just a bit of difference. The bottom is open, so I just stuck a piece of Plasticard, cut round it, and then just sanded it into place. I haven't put the bucket on yet, and I'll probably leave that off until I've painted it, and then stick the bucket on. I'll lift this up to the camera now in pieces. I've done a load of, not too many dings on it, not too many hits and bits of shrapnel knocking off the Zimmerit. Not thinking I'd put half of them exactly where the tracks are going. So I thought, you know what, I don't want to make it look too beat up. So I put some tiny little marks you can just about see with the drill, just to show where bits of shrapnel or small caliber rounds had hit the area, and also the stowage bin there. I tried to make it out as if a round had gone through, because this is only mild steel. It's not it's not a piece of armour. Now you can see I'd carved off some of the Zimmerit there, and again just put a couple of small dings in where rounds had hit. I think that's everything on the top. Wasn't 100%. I've got to look at my thing again just to make sure there wasn't a cover more over that mantlet there. Sometimes it looks like they've tried to show a rain cover over there, but I just need to check that. Let's just have the wheels stay there. These are the dings that were already in. You can get two versions, as I say. You get this beat up version, or you get hang on a second, you get the complete straight version. And you could obviously put a straight version on one side and just showed another where it's gone down an alleyway or somewhere across a building or caught itself on another derelict tank or something. A lot of these are often shown quite beat up, so I've put a couple of dings there and chips away and stuff. Again, the shrouds, I've beat those up with the Dremel as well. When I had the burring tool out, they'll look a bit more subtle when the paint's on. And again, shrapnel, you often see them with again, it's just mild steel, so you often see them with shrapnel pieces in them. I tried to make one more beat up than the other. I think that's about everything on there. Got a hit there on the front. I had a nice one. I was quite chuffed how it turned out. Just used the drill, no putty, but just made a splash mark, took some of that away, and then forgot again. I was putting tracks across. This is quite short. Normally it would be to either side. The only thing I haven't done, which I've just remembered now, I'll do that tonight, is I've drilled a couple of holes through. They're a bit bigger than they should be really, and I'll make a couple of wire D-shaped shackles to go on there. Put a little wire there for the light. That's that. I think that's that. Well, that is everything really, because there's nothing else to Nothing else to show. As I say, there's your wheels. Obviously I've not done anything with those. I left those like they were just because they're going to be on the ground, and obviously I'll put dirt in the cleats of the tracks at the time when the time comes. There's a slight. I don't want to stick them on yet, but obviously there's a bit of play in these. So they'll be. I'm going to have to pack those out probably with this bit of plasticard just to make them straight. Otherwise they'll be, if you glue them like that, they'll be pointing inwards. So I'll put a bit of plasticard in either when I glue them and then take the plasticard out, or I'll pack it in if I have to. You got Arch snoring away in his bed. Sorry if you're hearing his snoring. Could be my wife in her office room. Any spares? There's a piece of track. Obviously we've got our little bucket, which you can hardly see there. We've got jerry can. I won't put that on. I'm hopefully going to cast some out of putty and see if I can do that. I've got some of that Ushimura blue stuff, and I'll try and cast that as well. It's supposed to sit on the front, I believe, and you'll see them sometimes with them on and sometimes not, and I decided I would not have it on. So it was a bit. They do stick up on the real tanks. When I see them on the front, they do seem to stick up, but that sticks up a lot. I mean, nobody will be able to see anything through the vision ports, and I thought if I cut it down, it probably is not going to look right, so I'll decide to leave it off. Again, it can be useful for other stuff, especially if I can take a cast off it and stick it on vehicles as and when. Yeah, I've got a bit of damage there with it to the Zimmerit. So, thank you very much for stopping by and taking a look. I hope everything's going well with you. I'll have this, we've got cruddy weather in the UK again with rain and wind, so windows not being open to help vent the fumes of the spraying. So I will be not priming this today, unfortunately, but it will be soon. It'll be hopefully primed tomorrow or the weekend, and we'll have an update when, well, if not all, well, yeah, probably with it might all be completed. As I say, it's not a big project in that sense. I'll make a little base for it yet again. I'm not sure what yet, but that'll be where the time-consuming part is. But very, very nice little kit. As I say, they do them with Zimmerit and without. I think if you buy the box, they've got, I might be wrong, but I believe they have a the unzimmerited and zimmerited versions and that. So you can mix and match and whatever. So thank you very much for stopping by and taking a look. I hope everything's going well with you, and I'm now going to be painting some more Bavarians. I'll see you soon.